All right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum. Good day to everybody. So good day and good afternoon to everyone, delegates, officials from business enterprises, higher learning institutions, NGOs, and even government research institutes. Welcome to the coaching session of how to navigate through the e-survey monkey for the National R&D Survey for the year 2020. I am Dr. Surya and I will be your host and moderator for today. With me is the technical team, Mr. Sean, and also our research manager, Dr. Nick Hanis Mohammed. Congratulations and a big thank you to all of you who are here today helping our economy by declaring our country's abilities and advantages and growth in the R&D field. Hopefully, by garnering and writing down our findings and also research power and also findings outputs, we will help investors and foreign companies to come welcome them to our countries. So we shall start with the email that you have gotten. Once you have gotten your email, you can find it in 3 languages, whether it be in Bahasa Malaysia, English, or Bahasa Mandarin. So for now, we have chosen English, and this example today, we are using business enterprise as an example for e-survey portal. So once you click, you will find the background details of the survey, which is similar to the email body that you have received before this. Also attached here are links to appointment letters from MASTIC, and also the survey frequently asked questions for you to access via the web. So first and foremost, the most important thing in the survey is the name. Name refers to the person in charge. So that means it can be you, the one who is filling this up, so that it is easy for us to contact with you. For number 2 is your designation in your organization, be it whether you're a research manager, a lecturer, or even the marketing researcher. It is up to you. But the most important part is the organization. For example, abc.co, because this is where we will register your organization into the database to know whether you have participated in this research. For question 4 is office telephone number, and it is a mandatory answer to be answered. So we suggest you give us a landline that we can contact. However, if it is a small, we understand if you have only a small number of manpower and a small institution, then you may use it as your mobile telephone number. It may be the same as number 5. But these 2 are important so that we can get in touch with you for any reason or time. Fax number is not mandatory as it does not have an asterisk next to the number. As you can notice so far, that questions that have an asterisk at the top of the number means that it is mandatory for you to fill in order to go to the next page. Emails are also important so that we can email back and forth with you with so-and-so at soforth.com.my. Number 8 is postal address. A PO box is fine as well, as long as it is a mailing address that we can send you any hard copies or certificates that is needed for this. For question 9 and 10 is important, especially for business enterprises, where it is gross sales for 2020, meaning the rough estimation of what was gotten in the year 2020 from the products of research and development. This is mandatory for you to fill up. So is unlike question number 10, which is paid up capital, which is your modal in Bahasa Melayu, how much you have spent paid up in the beginning of the year. Question 11 refers to the ownership structure, which means hak milik company. Your company means it is the board of directors or managers, not referring to the staff that is within the company though. So a percentage is enough for us, and there's even allocation for foreign ownership if let's say your company is from overseas. Question number 12 refers to number of full-time employees in the year 2020, which merangkumi, which consists of everyone from the top board, the brown right to the security guard, and even your tea lady if they are in your company and on your payroll. Okay, for question number 13, even though there is no asterisk, this is important because without answering this, you cannot proceed to the next question. So the difference between the first yes, which is conducted and funded, and the second one, which is yes, only funded, is where your researcher lies. It lies where your research officers are. So regardless where you get the money from, whether the money is from your own company or from the government or from another body, for yes conducted and funded, meaning that the researchers are on your payroll, are part of your human resources and part of your staff. Whereas for yes only funded means you have an allotted amount of money and was given to another consultancy or contractor or subcontracted it to another part of the body. So there's a difference here, and the importance is because if you do not have any staff within your own company, you would skip section 4. And once you have answered either one of this, you may skip question 14 and 15, which I believe most of you will, all of you would, because coming here meaning that you have had 2020 activity for R&D. So next, please. All right. For section 1 refers to opinion-based questions in the form of tick boxes, which means you only need to tick. You can tick one or even more than one. First is factors limiting R&D activities in your organization. It could first and foremost be internal factors. Internal factors could mean financial resources, where you might have money in your company, but there is no allocation or budget or percentage that is gazetted for research. Or for lack of infrastructure means maybe your company does not have the tools, or maybe does not have enough manpower to carry out such research. That is for internal factors. For question 17, which are external factors, refers to funding from outside. That means you did not get any grant, you did not fulfill some criteria, or maybe there was lack in support services in R&D, or even difficulty with collaborating with public institutions. Because we understand some companies, especially small ones, need help from public institutions or private agencies in order to do their R&D. The last text checkbox in question number 17 refers to poor physical infrastructure, which refers to things that are out of your company's or organization's capability. For example, maybe nuclear or 5G internet, something that the country does not have at the moment. So we can click next. Just a reminder, at any point of time when you click next, whatever you have written before this would be saved into your IP address and your device. So that means once you do close this page and you come back late at another given time of time using the same IP address, i.e. using the same device, you would be getting back to where you left off. Section 2 is also some sort of an opinion question where we ask about how COVID-19 has impacted your R&D activities. For question 18, as it is mandatory, it actually gauges how much it has impacted, how much less. So some people might say about 50%. So that's where 41 to 60% comes in. But there are some companies who do say that COVID-19 did not have any impact. So no impacts are fine as well. For question 19, which is the factors that had the largest impact on your companies or organizations to carry out the research, can arise problems such as MCO, lockdown, where there were issues about traveling, or issues where people cannot be mobile from one place to another. That could be operational difficulties, or there could also be no problems as well. For the next question, which is question 20, how will the pandemic influence your research focus and directions? For this, it depends on your company. The example given here were maybe if your company was a pharmaceutical company that used to carry out things about generic medication, maybe because of COVID. So there was a shift into antiviral pills for COVID. For question 21, can be omitted or skipped because there is no asterisk, but it can help by giving your opinion on what measures should the government take to assist your organization and sector. So we have finished questions about opinions and how impact of things where you can easily tick. We have now come to section 3, R&D expenditure and activities. Here in section 3, it is a bit more nitty-gritty because numbers and costs are expected to be filled. However, do not fret and do not worry because we will not ask you for any EO, except text sheets, or even any kind of evidence, as long as you write a rough estimation is good enough for us. For example, let's start with the most important one, which is labor cost. The meaning of labor cost is what is the total amount each researcher gets. So I understand some companies have maybe 10 researchers. So for each researcher, how much do they get when they come back, when they take home salary? So they might have a basic pay of 1,000, but at the end of it, they might get back 5,000. So that's an example, 5,000 times 10 people, times 12 years, times 12 months. So that is the total cost for the year of 2020. For operating costs is also mandatory. Which refers to consumables, repairs, maintenance. These are especially more important to manufacturing companies or maybe to law companies where reference databases or things that need to buy online like softwares are in this operating cost. We understand sometimes your company might use the same amount of money or same things for operating for both your research and non-research work. It's okay. So to make things easier, we normally ask for what is gazetted specifically for research. But if there isn't, we can take for those that is running whatever is used for your running cost as well. As an estimation is fine as well. For questions number 24, 25, and 26, may be skipped. So if you do not know about these things and aren't sure about any kind of estimation, you can skip, especially question number 24, which I understand business enterprises do not have GRAs or students that are under their wings. For question 25 is how I easily put it is that if you have a gazetted amount of budget or some sort of amount that is spent for a building or research lab, here is where you can put it. And as some people are worried, what if they spend so and so amount of money for the research lab, but for other things also use the research lab? It's okay, as long as there was some research done there for land and also vehicle software. For question 27, is a round finger, can also be up to decimals if you have the exact figure, for how much of money was actually spent in totality for 2019. A rough figure is fine as well if you do not have it, because we will not ask for any evidence. So we're clicking next again. So remember, once we click next, you don't have to worry. Everything that you have written before this has been saved, as long as you come back with the same device. Okay, section 3.1 refers to field of research. I hope that your designated research assistant has given you this folder called field of research in the form of PDF. However, if they have not, you can download it at https://mastic.mosti.gov.my as linked in the page below. If your company has done more than one field of research, then you can click one first, then later we can continue next. We shall start for an example for applied sciences and humanities. So applied sciences will refer to economics, management, marketing, human resource, banking. These are examples of research and development. So we do get questions where companies ask, oh, we only do research on business. So there is actually an allocation for business. So we could write maybe a 50% amount for business here. And don't forget to also write down 50% at your subtotal or whatever the total is for this section. Then we can click next. if you do have another research field. Right. Example, you have the formal sciences. Let's say your company does ICT work. So ICT would be categorized under formal sciences. So there's statistical, mathematics, and also there's ICT under here. So you can find which one aligns better with your company, as you would know better than us. We hope the writings here is quite explainable for itself. So let's say maybe 50% was spent for mathematics and ICT and subtotal of 50. And so that's the only field of research that you do have. So if you have finished with all your fields of research, you can click no and go to the next section. All right. For the previous section, you can get help from your research assistants if you do not know which exactly is your field of research. However, for section 3.2, which is socio-economic objective, there is no glossary or definition, because here it is up to you and up to you, the research that has been done by your company, to reflect on the socio-economic objective, which is divided into 5. We hope what we have written here is self-explanatory for you and your company to help focus and highlight which parts that your company did partake into the socio-economic objective. So it could be an economy, it might be the objective was for the environment, or it could even be for the governance and national sovereignty. It totally is up to you or up to the grants that were given. But as long as at the end of it, the total must equal to 100%. For section 3.3, national priority area, is the same as 3.2, where there is no glossary nor defining terms, but we believe that you would know better of your company. But here we help you identify which of the priority areas of the 9 according to your company's vision, mission, and aims of the company. So if your company were to be a medical and healthcare company, so your priority area might focus there, or maybe if you are in the manufacturing of transportation, it could be also there. However, we do understand some companies such as corporations, koperasi, tidak memenuhi, do not fulfill any of the 9 priority areas, so you may answer others for 100% as well. We will not question what is your national priority, as long as the total must equal to 100. So do not forget to fill up the 100% in order to click next. All right, so we are done with the SEO and national priority area. We come to the type of research that has been done. Types of research that is classified within our national survey right now is divided into 3, which are basic research, applied research, and experimental research. This this objectively depends on what kind of research your company or organization has made, whether it was exploratory, which is under basic, or whether it was from the basic research, it went to an applied stage, or maybe experimental, where a theory was tested 100% to carry out the research. As long as totality has to be 100, we are okay with it. For these past three sections, if there are any queries, you can ask to your research assistants, because examples may vary from field to field. So do not fret, do not hesitate, just WhatsApp or call these your designated RAs and we will help you. For the next question, which is section 4, R&D personnel, is answered for those who said yes, they did conduct and also carried out research, which means there are R&D personnel within your company. Here we calculate it by percentage and by month. That means the full-time employees it depends on how much dedication they have towards research. By percentage, meaning that, example, a person might spend 70% of their time on research, but only 30%, 30 and the rest of the time for marketing. So if they spend 70% of their time as researchers, then it will be 0.7% of their person. However, if you have research departments where only work according to time, that means maybe if they are lecturers or maybe they are professors where they work 12 months a year but only spend 3 months a year doing research and the rest of it spent for other things, you can count it by 3 months, which is 0.25 FTE. So for example, you have 10 lecturers who work only 3 months a year for research. So you can multiply that with 0.25 times 10 people, which comes to about 2.5, or by percentage to which. However, in order to answer this, we can see here it is divided into internal and external R&D personnel, where internal R&D personnel are those who are existingly already in your company, and then they are subdivided into what qualifications they have, whether it's doctoral, master's, or bachelor. If you do have a doctor on board, doctors are considered as bachelor researchers and not doctoral researchers, because doctoral researchers are those who possess PhDs in their field. And for the last part of qualification was other researchers, which means they might have skill papers or ACCA papers or diploma. This is for those who are other researchers. For question 41 and 42, refer to technicians and equivalent staff, referring to maybe your lab techs or IT managers who have helped in research and development, whereas other supporting staff could be your secretaries or your managers who do not carry out, do not directly contribute to research, but maybe they were the ones who helped file the notion or file the grants to be done. But however, do not worry, not every one of these boxes need to be filled. As you can see that these questions do not have an asterisk next to them, so they do not need to be answered, and only answer those which are applicable to you. Right. Right. Okay. For external R&D personnel, are those R&D personnel that you have employed into your R&D unit, and we would like to know how many of them, whether they are R&D grant holders, whether they are volunteers or lecturers from universities, or consultants. That means you hire them purposely to help you aid yourselves in this R&D. So as we said, if there's no asterisk, you may skip it and we can go next. All right. For section 5, it refers to source of funds. So where is the money coming from? But do not worry, because we are not asking for figures or numbers here. Instead, we are asking for percentages and ratios of where these funds are coming from. Institution owned, that means from your own company. Are they from other business enterprises? Are they from the government? Other funds such as personal, people, or foreign funds from other countries. So we can write in percentages, right? And make sure there's a grand total of 100%. Right. For question 52, it refers to the location of these R&D projects. So it depends whether your company is a local company or maybe it's all over the world, or all over the country. Either way, we would like to know the ratio of where the R&D projects are. So maybe it's 50% KL, 10% Sabah, 10% Sarawak, and some of it in Selangor. It can also be in other countries. So feel free to answer that as well, as long as the total is 100%. All right. For section 6 is open to those who answered yes but funded the research outsourcing basically. In 2020, did your organization outsource projects to other organizations or individuals? So it depends whether yes or no. If yes, then you have to state your reason. However, and if you click no, then you can skip this whole section. But as you can see, even when you click yes, you don't need to answer each and every box that is. So as we can see here, the example given, we only answered, after clicking yes, we only answered for question 56 and 57. A rough estimation is okay and no evidence will be asked from you. For question 58, it is not the amount of money, instead it is the number of projects. So maybe you had spent already 70,000, but only 5 projects were done within Malaysia, or maybe yeah, so that's about it. Right. Now we're coming towards the end, just one last part about the nitty-gritty details, which are R&D outputs. Okay, R&D output is divided into 3 for business enterprises, NGOs, and government research institute. So as just like field of research, if you have more than one output, it's okay. We can start with one and we can continue to the next one. So we shall start with publications. So publications, we understand companies may not have books or journals that they are involved in. Instead, they go to conferences. So conferences are, as we see here, 3 as an example. So if there's another one, we click yes. So maybe it was commercialization. So commercialization is what was the revenue. Here, however, we do need numbers, how much was spent and what was the total number head count as well. At any point, if you are not very clear with these words, you may screenshot these questions and send it to your research assistant so that they can give you examples, real life examples referring to your field and referring to your specific organization. So if there is one more last R&D output, I believe, which is intellectual property. So intellectual property can be patents, and patents, we understand how long it takes for one to be filed, to be actually awarded. So maybe you applied for 100, but only 5 were given. So it's okay, we do accept that as well. So no more other R&D outputs, I believe. To make these things easier, that's why we have given all government, all organizations and companies, even higher learning institutions, the PDF version of this video that you can see, so that you can refer it without actually needing to open this e-survey portal one by one. But this session was made to help you answer it together. Okay, we've come to the last section, which is section 8. R&D incentives. That means what were the benefits to your organization from carrying out all this R&D? If you did have, if you do not have any, then you may skip. But if you did, as you can see, there are no asterisks as well. But you can answer. So maybe it was tax exemption, maybe, yeah, or whatever it may be. You can inform us about it. And the last one is, please check the problems faced when applying for R&D incentives. So it could be others such as red tape, too much of red tape, too many things that you needed to satisfy conditions. So yeah. Question 74, check the benefits obtained from carrying out. So same, what were the benefits to your company? Maybe once you have done this research, there was an improving of sales revenue. Maybe there was a technological transfer, especially in companies which are manufacturing. We understand the R&D is quite vital in improving sales. But you can skip this question, like question 75, if you feel that you do not want to answer this, it's okay. We can skip this. So as I said, we have come to the end. So this is also a totally optional question. You may not need to answer it, but we would like to hear very much from you for what measures that you think that the government should take in order to enhance the effectiveness of R&D activities, particularly in your sector. Be it maybe you need more grants, more money, more budget, or maybe the technological advancement. Whatever your opinion, it is please feel free to answer. And but if you are quite hesitant, you don't need to, and we can click done. Once you have clicked done, you have come to the part where we will give you a certificate of appreciation from MOSTI through MASTIC. So you have to fill in the email address, your email address, your functional email address. So it does not have to be your work address, as long as you can access to the account, and also the name of your organization in capital letters so that it will be bolded in the certificate. I think we have come to the end of our session, and I hope this has been beneficial to you, especially business and enterprises, which we have gone through one by one, step by step. For any more questions or queries, can be directly to your respective research assistants, be it for business enterprises, Dr. Shu, Dr. Shuhada, Ayuni, Omar, Shorn, or even Atika. And for government research institutes, Ms. Atika Razali. For NGOs, Ms. RS, and also for higher learning institutes, to me, Dr. Surya Ridwan. That's all for today. Thank you very much.